Hello, welcome back. You'll have to excuse my voice. There's a big fire close to campus, and the air quality is complete garbage. So I have this whole Emperor Palpatine thing going today. Excuse me for that. So today we're going to talk about ways to network and make a living as a composer. Now, when I say composer, you can also insert instrumentalist. So it applies to musicians in general. I'll talk about two scenarios. The first is if you are a university student majoring in music and you have university resources. And then the second scenario is someone who is self-taught or took private lessons and doesn't have those at their disposal. So the first scenario is if you're a music major. Now, for my undergrad, I was a double major for piano performance and composition. So I saw both sides of the playing field as a composer working with instrumentalists, and then as a pianist working with composers to play their works. So I saw it from both sides. Now, the first thing is to develop meaningful relationships with others so that once everyone graduates and goes their separate ways, if you're a composer, for instance, and you became friends with a choral conducting major and you continue to stay in contact with them once they're on the other side of the country as a conductor, there may be opportunities when they have a living composer concert to program, and you have a piece that fits the criteria. So develop meaningful relationships. Be a nice human being when you work with others, so that they will continue staying in contact and actually consider hiring you. So that's one really important thing. Now, this applies to both the university student and non, is where to go to meet people besides the university itself, where you have an orchestra that will do a reading for you for one of the performances, and so on. So some venues are better than others for meeting people. Like, for instance, if you go to Hollywood Bowl, you're not going to meet anybody, or I shouldn't say you won't, but it's less likely because it's a huge venue and there are thousands and thousands of people present, and the performers are just a speck in the distance from you. So on the other hand, if you live in the San Diego area or in just Southern California, you can go to the Conrad, and it's much more intimate, and it's more of a community. In fact, afterwards, it's common to mingle and meet the music director and the performers afterwards. So places like that are fantastic to meet people and make connections. So go to those, present yourself professionally, have business cards. But on that note, okay, so I have two resources here. But before I talk about these, when you do network with people and you meet somebody, a really important thing to not do is to jump right in and make it about yourself, because concert promoters and managers and music directors, they a lot of them get bombarded by many individuals who are hungry, and so you're just going to be another number to them. But on the other hand, if you show personal interest in what they are doing, and form a genuine rapport with them, that's much more likely to lead to a connection that can be fruitful for you professionally. Okay, so let's talk about these two books. The first is Beyond Talent. I studied this at the university as an undergrad with my composition professor, and there's a lot of really good information in here. So I highly recommend purchasing it. You can get it used or get it from a library. But this is a must read for anyone in this situation looking for how to make a profession out of composition or being an instrumentalist. So I'll just show you some of the topics. The mindset, having a fixed versus growth mindset, art versus business, entrepreneurship, um, how to dedicate time towards the practical business side of things, making your name a brand, different ways to do that with online presence, digital marketing, websites, social media, etc. Let's see some other things just to whet your appetite. So, how to get more gigs, um, by negotiating fees, contracts in a way that will be much more likely to end up in a gig. One other resource while we're talking about this is Musical America online. It's an excellent resource. It lists pretty much every venue management agency, festival, and it has all the contact information for them. So that is a really good resource to network with people as well. Although online it's much less personal, so it's, you're not as likely to stand out as much. How to build a portfolio and a CV. So that's a really good resource. Here is the Music Business Handbook. This is also excellent. This gets more into technical aspects of fees, different types of licensing, becoming covered by BMI, for instance, or ASCAP, that they will keep track. I'm a BMI artist, and that way, if my pieces get performed, they keep track of those so that I can always collect royalties when needed. Also, look for radio stations that particularly have living composer sections on the programs. You can reach out to them and see if they are interested in having a recording played of your music. And on that note, it's very important to have professional quality recordings so that when these opportunities arise, you have something to share with them. So work on an album. Okay, so let's see. Just to give you a little idea of here is of this book is how to negotiate on online platforms. Excuse me. The different types of licensing and how to reach out to publishers without trying to seem too needy or desperate. So this is also excellent. If I were to pick one of these, I would go with this one. But I think both of them have a lot of valuable information. So obviously, if you are a non-university student, it's going to be more challenging to find those resources since you don't have fellow students to network with, professors, because my first commission was through the university. My style of composing, the faculty thought of me and thought that I fit this particular commission the best, and so I received that, but it was because I was a student there. So one thing you can do if you're not a student at a university is go to college performances and university performances and meet people who are. Just as in other concerts, like at the Conrad, like I mentioned, show an interest in them and try to make a connection there. So I hope this information helps. Feel free to leave comments below, and I will see you next time.